Hello everyone, welcome to Knowledge Optimizer. I'm Rajat and welcome to this second tutorial on Postgres. So if you haven't watched my previous video where I discuss about the basic CRUD operation and indexes, I think you must watch it before starting on this. So today we are going to continue from where we had left off from the last time. So we will agenda of the day would be discussing about the advanced queries, then stored procedures, triggers, view rules. So we are going to go in depth in all of these topics. So without any further delay, let's start with aggregate function. So from the name you can see like what is aggregate function. Like if you are aggregating, basically aggregated function are if you want to aggregate over multiple rows on certain condition, and so this is called aggregation. Okay, so we'll start with basic aggregate function. I think many of you might have used if you want to calculate the number of rows in the table. So this the basic aggregate function. Okay, I think okay, this like count of star from countries. I think this is the, yeah. If you'll see, it will just give me the number of count in that country table. So it is doing all the basically it is giving me all the aggregated result of that table. So that's the main idea behind this aggregate function. There could be multiple aggregate function. Here I have provided you this count. Now if I want to add some condition to it, like where okay, like where name, country name equals to this, so it would be one. So similarly, there could be multiple other condition also if you want to add. Now suppose you want to get the time window in which the basically the crystal ballroom will be occupied. Basically, the events are going to happen. Then you can just get the select min, basically getting the min of the. Okay, first of all, I'll do this. Select star from events inner join venues on e dot venue id equals to v dot venue id, where v dot name equals to okay. Now I want to get the min of start time e dot. Oh, we don't have any such column. I thought we did. Let's start max of e dot ends. Okay, it was a alien ballroom basically, not crystal ballroom. So if you'll see, like I just got min value as this, max value as this for that. So this is also a part of aggregate function only. Basically, it will just aggregate the data, basically search for that particular max and min time. It could be like there could be multiple max and min. It will just get the one out of it. Okay, same multiple max and min. So this is how it works. Okay. Now, okay. So but there is a limitation of even aggregation. Suppose you want to count all the events at each venue. Okay, then in that case how you are going to use the aggregate function. Okay, so suppose select count of star from events where venue id equals to 1, then venue id is null, So basically, you are making multiple queries. So, like first of all, you are getting the events on venue ID one. Suppose there would be any other venue ID, then venue ID two. So that's how you will be going to get the count of all the events. So is there any function which is going to support me this functionality also? Basically, I can group on venue. I can group on venue IDs and then basically get the count or any other uh, modification I have to do over that group. So yes, there is this grouping mechanism support in PostgreSQL. So what we have to do? Okay, the rest would be same. Select um, star from events, group by venue ID. Okay. Now if you can see, if I just want to get print venue ID. So you can see it is giving me like the venue ID and the count particular to that venue ID. So now you must be thinking, so can I project anything here? No. Only the thing which you are grouping by, that only you can basically project here in our add in select statement. Suppose if I want to get event ID, it won't work this way. Now you want to know why. So suppose there could be chances like there could multiple for a particular two different event ID, venue ID is same. Now it is already doing the grouping on the venue ID, then it can't combine this basically event ID. So basically that's why we can project only this value, these value. Now can I add any condition? We'll come to that later, like how we can what can we use for basically getting even basically we'll cover in the different function, that's a part of different function. So you get the limitation of it, group id, and actually it's not even the limitation, it's the basic functioning, I think. And this should work this way only. So can I add any condition also? Yes, you can, using the having clause. You just have to write count. So suppose I want to get the count greater than uh, basically 1, then I'll get the null value only. Less than 2, then I'll get one value. Less than 3, I'll get both of the result, both of the send the result set. So that's how basically this group by works along with the having clause. Now okay, also you can order, if I haven't covered so far, that we can even order our result set on the basis of different condition. So if I want to do this order by, suppose I want to order by count ASC, count them in ascending order. Now it will give me first one, then two. If I would have written something like this, it would give me this result set. Okay, I think that makes sense. That's a straight forward. So writing like order by which column, then the descending ascending. Okay. Now moving to like what I was discussing. So since I can't project event ID here, is there a way to project event ID? Yes, there is. So there comes window function. Okay. Now suppose I want to, or if you want to project in this query, then you have to write inner query. Inner query we're going to cover later. Okay, later in this chapter. So or even I can show you a smallest inner query, like okay, suppose I want to insert before jumping to window function. I'll just show you a small inner queries. Okay, suppose I want to insert one new event title Mobi in venues, and what I am doing, I'm just adding to it this. So if you'll see there in itself I'm using the inner query, okay, while inserting. Select menu from venue ID where name equals to alien bowl name. Now with this insert statement I made one more entry in the events table. So if you'll see like there's this entry which with title Mobi we have created. Now we have covered inner query. So basically now suppose you want to get basically the venue name also along with the, you will just print it, no, just give me like this, Huh. So now, so now if you'll just run this query, it will give me something like this. The count is 2, updated to 2 with this insert statement. Okay. Now suppose I want to basically print the get the venue name also. Now what should I do? So I'll just write a query, select start from events, inner join venues on e dot venue id equals to v dot venue id and group by e dot venue id. Now if I want to project basically the venue name also, then I have to put that in group by clause having, or I won't write the having clause. So here I'll just project e dot venue id v dot name and count. Hmm. So here now I am getting the venue name also. So instead of writing, if I just want to get the null values also, so I'll just do left join. So okay, I'll just get the count of null also. I think okay, we already had covered this join. So you got the like how it is working, right? So moving on to Windows function now. So what are Windows function? So if you have seen, like instead I want to project one more field, e dot title, it will give me, it will just throw error to me. Okay, cause must appear in the group by clause if you want to use. So it is an ambiguous now. Why it is ambiguous? Since I am making a group by over these two column and I want to project this column, this title, and there could be possibility like while grouping by there could be two rows with the with have these two as same. Then that case what rows title which I have to put here. So that's the ambiguous. Okay. So there then there basically in this case in these cases this window function comes into picture. Now let's start with the Windows function. Okay. Now suppose I want to print the title, then I want to get count from event group by venue ID. Okay, it will fail. Cost title is there in the projection, but since when we are grouping on the venue ID. Now suppose I just remove it instead of group by, I'll just use our partition. Just create the partition by venue ID. Okay. Voila. If you'll see, it basically gave me the Fight Club count equals to 3. But what? Why count is 3? Mobby count 3, prom night count 3, Christmas day count 2. Cause we have single row for them, right? Single insertion for them. So the reason for that is the venue ID they are using basically. That has overall count 3 in that event table. So yes, here you can see there are three events going to happen on the venue 1. So that's why the count is 3. Similarly, if there are 3 events going to happen on the venue 2, that's why the count is 3. So suppose now I want to get the latest event which is going to happen on a particular venue. So I'll just do simple. Select title, venue, ID, from what? I have to provide first from, then I'll do this, then I'll just do simple select title, venue ID, then basically row number. So what this function does basically provide me the row. I'll just tell you like this is working. Our partition by venue ID, order by starts EFP. I'll just keep it as row num. Just that's how we provide. If you just add any name, basically it will use that as alias. Okay. Now, okay, from events e, okay, it will just, now the inner query will project something over. I can provide like the inner query, whatever the results that I'll get basically from the inner query, it could be represent as a view basically, or table, another table. So I'll just use this as latest events, and here I'll add the condition where row, this was the, equals to 1. See, now it is giving me Mobi as basically. Okay, I'll just print the start time also for you. Starts basically here also starts. Okay, so it is starting on on this venue basically on 6th. Now we'll see, are there anything less than that? Obviously on that one, no. It is on 15, then it is on 7. That's why basically it gave me the latest one. So suppose you might be wondering, like we can get it from even the max function also. Yes, you can. That's an inbuilt aggregation function. But what if you want to get the second latest event? Then in that case, so how you are going to do it? So you just have to write it, that row number s2 will just give you the result of it. If I hadn't had any condition, so I think that will help you understand it better. So it will give me on the basis of so it will give me all the results. Now I'll just print the row number also here. I have to use the alias by the way. So, so if you'll see, it will guess basically so order by row num 1. Sorry, it should be ordered by Benjamin. My bad. Then only it will give me better result. So if you'll see, it gives me like for this particular value, on the basis of ordering on the start time, basically gave me the row number 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2. Now if I want to get the second higher, I just have to add the condition here, like I was adding previously. Similarly, the third largest or anything I have to do. So basically, I can do it this way. So this is one of the use case, another use case of it. So now let's jump to the transaction. So what are transaction? So I think while dealing with the relation database, you have heard of this term transaction a lot. Then there would be asset properties. So what are asset properties? So we are going to cover that. So first of all, we are going to cover this asset properties only. And what before that, what do you mean by transaction? Transaction is nothing. It's a way of Postgres to maintain a consistency, all or nothing basically kind of thing. If you want to execute something, if you are running a query, then it should be executed completely. It wouldn't be like the half part of it would be processed, then the half would be reverted, or basically we lost the data. In those cases also the database has to be consistent. So it is all or nothing basically. It either the whole query would be committed, else the whole query would be rollback. So that's the main crux of it. Now coming to the asset property, what do you mean by asset properties? I think the basically those are the basic functionality which comes with the transaction. Okay, so A stand for atomic, like either the all the operation going to succeed or none do. Then there is this consistency. The data will be in good state, never in an inconsistent state. Even if there is basically the database crashed or anything, then also the data would be consistent. The things which are committed will stay committed. Then we have isolation, like one transaction won't interfere with another transaction. Like there's a query running, then there's this query running, both won't basically they don't interfere with each other. Then there's this durability. A committed transaction is safe even in a crash state. So there's the main motto behind, the main motto which I said, it's all or nothing. That's the main use. that's the main thing of transaction. Now suppose I want to basically do run anything in a transaction block. Okay, so I'll just begin transaction, delete from events. I'll just delete all the data from events. Now I'll do rollback. Event still exists. We deleted everything from events, right? Why? Due to this rollback. Also, when I begin the transaction, I never commit this transaction. So if I select start from events, I'll just get the whole data. Now I'll just delete this where what was that? When event ID, sorry, event ID was 7, right? Now let's check the event. I don't want to end up deleting any other data. So if I just select where event ID equals to 7, I will still get the data. Now suppose instead of rollback, I'll just end transaction, commit transaction actually. It's deleted. So basically you got the main idea like how it does work. So basically whenever you are running any transaction, so even in case of like half of the queries basically executed, then that case at the end of it there would be this rollback. It will basically keep the state to consistent, basically initial state only, if there is a failure post that query. So that's how basically this rollbacks work. Even in case of system failure also there is this rollback. There is never this commit transaction even in case of system failure, the transaction is in middle of it. So that's the main idea behind it. Now let's come to store procedure. What are store procedure? So store procedure are nothing. These are basically predefined SQL statements which are executed on the database. So basically they can be used for many purpose, you want to basically do the pre-validation before inserting the data if you, so all those things you can use the store procedure. So they are extremely powerful, but they comes at a cost. They are like you don't want to replicate the data, and before inserting only you don't want to execute another statement. So you have to check like where you can use it, like whether it is going to be beneficial or not. So it comes with a cost definitely. Now let's write a stored procedure. So for basically inserting, first of all it will check for the venue ID before inserting the event, and then if the venue ID doesn't exist, it will going to insert it, and basically on the basis of that particular venue ID, getting that venue ID, it will populate the event table. So I'll just do what, create or replace function, add events. So what are the fields? Basically it is going to take, first would be title, that would be of type text, then starts, date, ends, date type, then venue can be text, venue name basically, then postal code, it would be varchar of 9 characters, then country code, varchar of 3 characters, then yeah, it's mostly title, I guess. Yeah, it's mostly it. Then basically I have to what to return, returns whether it was successful insertion or not, boolean as basically dollar dollar, just I'll returns boolean dollar 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 is nothing, just a placeholder for inserting, then declare. So basically here I'm going to declare few variables. Did insert, default would be false for it. Then we have found integer, then the venue ID, these are the few variable I am defining for myself. Okay, this is also integer. Now begin transaction, the select sorry, not transaction, begin that block, the block, then venue id into the venue id. Now from what venues we where v dot postal code equals to postal, and v dot country code equals to country, that is which are taken uh, in that function, the fields basically. And v dot name is like I like venue, then limit 1. If the venue id is null, then do the insertion, insert into venues name postal code country code values venue postal country, then returning venue. I've told you like you can directly return it from here using this return it. Now I'm just putting it in some variable, returning venue id into this. Okay, now did insert, yes, true, and if and if basically just raise a notice, raise notice venue found safety, and I'll just get the venue id for that. Now insert into events, since I found the venue id starts ends venue values title start and the venue id. Okay, now post insert, I'll just return did insert. Basically, did we insert in that venue table or not? And now this is, we also have to provide, like for, we have used a placeholder, right, dollar dollar. So I also have to provide language for that, PGSQL. Okay, so I'll just copy this. I can't actually I can run it from here, but I'll run it from script, or so I just pasted it. I'll just run this, and it worked. Okay, so basically now what I want to do is just insert some data. Sorry, now I want to test it like how it is working. So I'll just insert some data. How we can use this stored procedure is just a simple, like you usually do select statement, you have to do it this way only. So select add event, so I'll just try to add something like this. Okay, country code doesn't matter, it was one, I guess. Add event equals to true, add v means true, so it is inserted. So if I just check in the venues, earlier there were two, now we have introduced one more venue. If I just go here, then there is this one more house party. Okay, in the venue 4 has been inserted. So yes, you can see like more around store procedure. So now let's move to triggers. Okay, so what are triggers? From the name you can see like trigger nothing. It's basically a file stored procedure when some event happens. So it just that's all about triggers. So I'll just create a new table to show you like how triggers works. Okay. So basically this is a new log table I'm creating. So whenever someone make any change in the event table and we want to log the data, like who has made those changes, and so basically there are cases in the organization when people deny like they haven't made any changes, then in that case like maintaining this log table is useful. So you can just log like when and who basically have basically have made the changes in the event table. So I'll just create a new table, create table logs, and basically I'll create a stored procedure corresponding. So basically, just a stored procedure I've created. Create a replace function log event, trigger and trigger as declare begin insert. So whenever anyone making any insert, raise notice this. Someone change the okay. Uh, it is on the similar terms which we have seen previously, like how to create uh, stored procedure. So for this particular stored procedure, I'll just add a trigger also. Create trigger log events. Okay. Now after update on events. So if you'll see, just check this. After update on events, create a trigger log event. For each row, execute procedure log event. For each row execution, basically create a procedure log event. So if someone updated like 2 or 3 rows, then basically for each row, this function will be called. Okay. So I'll just add a trigger. Just oh, oh my bad. No, I'll just run this. Okay. Now suppose I let's update the end of event where title is house party. Let's currently see the end is for fourth. I'll just update it to fourth one. It's 00. Okay. Let's update it to 7th, I guess. Now, now if you see here, this is updated. Okay, let's refresh our table first of all. It automatically created an entry through that trigger, basically for this particular event ID. What was the old start? What is the new old? Basically old start, old end. So it's kind of you can say historical table now. Basically, we have added a trigger whenever any update is made on the event table. We basically log the previous data. So that's how basically it works. So you can there are multiple use cases. One is this only, like who has made that change, and also if you want to maintain the old data, then also it is useful. These historical kind of table are useful. So there are many other cases also, which varies from organization to organization for the triggers. Many organizations use these triggers. Now let's jump into views. So what are views? So wouldn't it be great, like basically if you want to get the result of some query, complex query, we can store it somewhere and basically get the result on hand. So that's what views are used for. So suppose you want to create, let's suppose we want to create a view on our basically, okay, suppose there is a query which basically uh, run on the event table and give us that title, event ID, and all those things on the basis of certain condition. Okay, suppose this is the query. Now I got nothing first of all. Like day, okay, let's see, Christmas day, why it is not working. Mm, should work. Venue ID is null. Oh my. Okay, so I got basically these two as basically when I ran this query. Now suppose I want to create a basically get this before only, where I can store it as these queries kind of in a view. Then I what I have to do is basically I just have to define this as this. So if I just run this query, now it will create a view for me. So if I go under views, okay, I'll just refresh it. So you can see like there is a view created. Okay, now what it is doing internally, it is doing nothing. Every time basically whenever you are clicking on this view, basically it is running this query and getting the results for you. So that's how basically people maintain like the result of the complex query, basically not result, store the complex queries as here. Okay, now okay, now if you want to make some changes in the event table, then suppose like we are inserting any one more attribute color to the event table. Okay, now alter table. Okay, now I just have to basically replace the view, or for updating the view, replace the view. Now I also have started getting the color. Okay, I'll just run this. So earlier I guess, now if I'll just refresh it, now there's one more view which is created, my bad. I think I just leave this view. Okay, my bad, I just renamed it back to this. And this was our view. Okay, so if I just open it, refresh it, then there would be another color column. Now suppose I want to basically update the data in this view. Now so suppose you want to update the data, this is the command you are going to run, right? Update holiday, set color as this, where name equals to Christmas day. So there is this Christmas day available, then color is null for that, and I'll just update holiday, not holidays, holiday, set color, color column is there. Okay, so how is it this view is working? So it is basically dynamically created, so whenever you are making any changes, okay, I'll just open this too. Hmm. So whenever we had updated that view, basically color for that view, the data here also is updated. Okay, I think that is straightforward for you. Now basically what I was at, hmm. So I was telling you like how this view are created. So this is basically dynamic in nature. So whenever you are click on this view, refresh it, whenever you click open that view, basically that query is executed. It is not stored anywhere. It is dynamic in, basically it is generated at runtime. If you want to basically make a gains from these views, so basically in your organization you will see like people creating materialized view. Now it will, whenever I instead of this, I'll just do this, create materialized view. Materialize. So if I just do this materialized view, now it will basically okay, sorry. Okay, you can't name the two views the same. Huh. So if you'll see here, no, now it will create another view here. So here you can see like there was no disk space here, right? But here as soon as I have created metallized view, you can see a disk space is taken. So that's the beauty of it. This metallized view basically store the data in the disk while this is generated at the runtime. So in mining organization, you will work with the complex query result are stored in metallized view. They are basically updated by a cron, or it could be anything on the timely basis, and that's how basically they run the queries and get the results, because they don't want to run the query. They don't want to execute those query at the runtime on whole table. They want to increase the load on those tables. So many organizations run their queries on the metallized view, and they are updated on the basis of on a timely basis with cron. So that's more around today's class, I think, and I'm assuming you had got a good understanding on all of these topics. There's this one topic is remaining where rules basically. So whenever you execute a query, basically a rule is performed. So first of all, they are trying to get a rule before executing the query, like on the basis of what we have to evaluate what. So whenever you are making any alter, any update, or any addition on that query on that table, so basically first of all it will fetch the rules, then execute those queries. There could be multiple rules and on the multiple conditions. So suppose if I want to show you like I'll just do explain purpose. So it will give me like the rules on which it is executed. So this is the filter. You can see right. Output is this. Then the filter, basically the rule. This is the rule. It will going to match this in this way. So there are certain rules. So you can add your own rule also. Okay. So there is this command. I'll just post for you. Create rule. So suppose if I want to create rule on updating a view, then I just have to write create rule update holidays. I don't update do instead update events with new name this. Okay. So this is how you create any rule. So what I've done is basically whenever we are updating any this holidays view, so I have basically created this. So on update, whenever I'm getting any update, basically when I was doing this, I might have. So whenever I was doing this, so it will basically run this. First of all, it will fetch the rule for that, and then since it get the update holidays rule, whenever there is an update on holiday, do this. Now it will going to update the event table and update the corresponding view also. Okay. Hoping you understand few new things from this class. So let's meet you in the next class. Till then, like, share, subscribe, and you can read more about all these topics and go deep dive into them. Thank you.